I'm your host, Whitney Ward. I am here to bring knowledge and community. I believe that women are the most powerful entity on this planet. We are here to connect and bring life into this world. So let's rise up, come into our power, heal, and be whole. Anything and everything, let's talk about it. Welcome to Whitney's World Podcast. 5, 6, 7, 8, let's go! What is up, squad? I'm your host, Whitney Ward. Thank you for tuning in to Whitney's World Podcast. This is officially episode number 3, and I am so happy to have you. So wherever you're at, if you're in your car, if you're at home, if you're at your office, wherever you're listening to this, I am so thankful that you're here. Truly, this means the absolute world to me. I am here for you to bring some sunshine and light into your life, because there's a lot of stuff going on out in the world, and I just really want to bring some light into your soul, into your home, your car, or your office, wherever you're at. So thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited. This is an amazing episode that I'm so excited to share with you. I went to Colombia and I turned 30, and it was a very spiritual experience. This was a retreat that I went on. So I went on a retreat in Greece, and then I went on another retreat right after to Colombia. This trip was absolutely incredible, as well as Greece. It's funny because so many people in Colombia, all of the people at the retreat kept asking me, so what's better, like this trip or your Greece trip? And it was one of those things where it was so interesting because I couldn't, it's like you can't decide. First of all, they're completely different experiences. Greece, it was an extremely long journey to get there. I didn't know anyone that I was going with. I met 13 other women there. The weather was pretty chilly. It was gloomy. It was rainy. It was not like we didn't get to swim in our amazing infinity pools. I went in twice, but it was pretty much a cold plunge. So, and then shoot to the other side of the world to go to Colombia. It was a quick trip. It was a co-ed trip. It was really hot. It was so beautiful. It was tropical. The ages of people, there was, younger, older. There was mainly people that spoke Spanish. Obviously, some people didn't speak English. So it was just really just such different experiences. I feel like Greece was more like women, get inside yourself, heal that inner child and feel her and, help her and hold her and love her. And then, Colombia, it was just a completely different experience. My room that I had was a tent, but it was obviously in the ground, and it was amazing. It was very comfortable, and there was 2 fans. And then outside my bedroom, outside my tent room, you went around the outside, and it was private, obviously, but my shower was there, my toilet, and my sink. So it was very tropical. It was like jungle living. I've never experienced anything like that. So it was just an amazing experience. So anyway, to compare them is not fair. They were both absolutely incredible trips. And no matter what, if you haven't gone to Greece, like I said, go to Greece. And if you haven't gone to Colombia, you got to go. It was such an amazing experience. And the retreat we were at, the hotel was amazing. So let's get into it. So Colombia, let me just tell you guys, life is just so crazy, and we make all these plans, and it usually doesn't work out the way we plan it. Sometimes it does, but sometimes, it doesn't. So I ended up getting home from Greece. I, got settled. Unfortunately, one of my cousins had passed, so I had went to a funeral. And then the next day I felt like my throat was getting sore, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is not ideal, because I'm supposed to leave for Colombia in 2 days. So anyway, I ended up going to the doctor, and they gave me antibiotics. They weren't really sure what was going on, but they did give me antibiotics. And, I'm glad I didn't end up taking them, because I ended up going back to the doctor, because the day I was supposed to leave, which was Wednesday, I woke up and my throat hurt so bad. It felt like strep throat. I couldn't swallow. My nose had been running at this point, and it was, there was just absolutely no chance I could have flown on an airplane. So I called my two dear friends, Alex and Diane, and I called them. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, guys, I just don't think I can make it. I'm like absolutely heartbroken. I was really trying not to cry. I was trying to like be an adult and realize, okay, well, I went to Greece. So yeah, at least I had that experience, whatever. But it was very sad. They, obviously were like, okay, well, hopefully you get better. We're going to miss you. We're so sorry. And, it was really sad. So I ended up going back to the doctor at 8, got some more tests. They told me, I forgot why they were going to give me the antibiotics, but they said, you don't have strep. So I think that's why I didn't have strep. So they said, don't take the antibiotics because obviously it could make your stomach hurt. And, you don't want to take antibiotics really anyway, but especially if you don't need them. So I ended up sitting in the doctor's office, and the doctor, she's like, how are you? And I just start bawling. And I'm like, tears streaming down my face. My heart is just broken. I'm like so sad. And she's like, what's wrong? And I was like, well, I was supposed to leave for Colombia today. I turned 30 on Friday. This was like my actual 30 trip. I was going with two of my very close friends, and I was going to meet all these amazing humans. And I'm just like crying. I'm so sad. And she's like, well, rest today. If you feel good, just go. I think you're fine. You're just sick, and just go. And so I ended up talking to the ladies that ran the retreat, Kathy, and she had said, we'll give you your own room because Alex and I were supposed to room together. And she said, Whitney, if you can still come, we'll give you your own room. And, everything's outside. So it's not like you're going to get anyone sick, whatever. And so I was like, okay. So I ended up resting that day. I, changed my flights. I was able to fly out the next morning early, and I literally sat on my couch. I ate like 3 bowls of chicken noodle soup that I had made myself because I felt fine. It was just my throat, and my nose is running so bad. I went through a whole box of tissues while I sat on the couch. I think I had 6 cups of tea. Like, I'm not kidding you. I was eating cough drops. I was taking medicine. I was like every 4 to 6 hours, like I was just constantly, I was fighting this cold. I was going to Colombia, like nothing. If they say I can come, I'm not going to be held back. I already missed a day. So I end up, chilling that day. I watched Netflix and just relaxed, slept, let my body heal. And in the morning I was able to get up. I felt way better. So I get up, I fly alone, of course, to Colombia, which I was really bummed about because I had taken my long journey to Greece alone. And I was excited to go like with my friends and not have to like be on all the time. Like maybe they'll tell me where to go in the airport. I'm just going to follow them. And so it's fine. I ended up, getting to the airport. I drove to Orlando, get on my flight. It was a direct flight, and I landed, and the guy had a sign, and it said Whitney Ward Census Retreat. So I walked up to him and I said, hola, I'm Whitney. And so he didn't speak English. So he was like doing the translator in his phone and just telling me that one of the girls from our resort or our retreat, we had to pick up her bag because the airport had lost her bag. So we ended up waiting like 30 minutes to get her bag, and he got her bag and he said, okay, let's go. And so this is a 3-hour car ride. Okay. It's not 5 hours like Greece, but I was definitely dreading a 3-hour car ride by myself with, this very nice gentleman that doesn't speak English. And on top of that, I didn't want to talk because, when you're really sick and you go to talk and then you cough, that's what was happening for me. If I would talk, I would want to cough. And then I'm in the car with this guy and I don't want to, cough and get him sick or anything like that. So It was fine. I just didn't drink any water. I stayed dehydrated and I just tried my hardest not to talk to him too much so that I wasn't coughing in the car. Um, so, you know, we take off, we leave the airport. It's crazy. They drive crazy. There's no street lights. The roads are pretty smooth. They weren't, messed up or anything. But there's just like it's crazy how they drive in other countries. And so there's just all these horns honking and these vans full of people and these little golf carts. They look like golf carts, and those are like what they drive on the street. And then obviously tons of motorcycles. It was just complete chaos. Um, and it was crazy. So finally we get out of that neighborhood and we hit the highway, and literally immediately we get on the highway and a cop he takes his hand and like waves us over, and I'm thinking like, "Oh my gosh, this is the worst. Like what is happening?" And I will say I've been really trying to work on my mindset and not let my mind think the worst things, because obviously, we do that a lot. We think the absolute worst thing. I mean, how many times have you gotten in a fight with someone or something happened or someone's like, "Oh, I need to talk to you," which is absolutely the worst thing. Like just talk to me, just call me, don't hit me up and tell me you need to call me and talk to me, because it like puts your mind into this like wheel of the worst possible things, and you stress yourself out. The level of stress that comes from thinking the worst things is dumb. And then on top of that, it's usually never even that. And you're like, wow, I literally just stressed myself out for absolutely no reason. And, I've been thinking about this for days, and, it's just a simple conversation of like, you want to go out next Friday? Like, are you serious? I was thinking that I, did something horrible or said something, or you're actually mad at me, who knows? But anyway, so the cop pulls us over. So my mind obviously goes to the worst thing possible. And it was like, oh my gosh, they're going to take all my money. What if they take my luggage? I don't speak English, or I'm sorry, I do speak English, but I don't speak Spanish. And even though I'm fluent when I land in Mexico, it's not Mexico. So I'm not fluent. It's only Mexico for some reason. And so I'm literally thinking like, they're going to take all my money. What if they take my luggage? I'm this little white blonde headed girl from America. Like, this is literally in the movies what they talk about, the danger of going to other countries. And then all of a sudden I'm like, Whitney, you can't think like that. Everything's fine. The driver's safe. The retreat sent him. He's like getting his documentation for the cop, and he gave me a thumbs up and said everything was fine. So I was like, okay. And I just like closed my eyes, and 5 minutes later we were on the road. But that was so crazy. I'm like, of course, we're going to get pulled over, and they can just pull you over for any reason. You don't have to do anything wrong. They just wave you over and you go. And they're like standing on the highway. So they're not like sitting, they're just standing there, and they wave people that they want to make sure, I guess, they have their right documentation or whatever. So that was the very first like 20 minutes of the trip, which was super intense. And we just kept driving. And then he was trying to like small talk with me a little bit, but I obviously it was kind of hard to talk to him. And then I didn't have cell phone signal. So I couldn't like Google Translate with him. And so whatever, I just sat in the back of the car and looked out the window the whole time. And I will say the drive from it's the airport that we landed in, well, I landed in, was Barranquilla. When I landed there, we had to drive to Santa Marta. So it was a two-way street, like the whole entire drive pretty much. And it was pretty much my first time seeing like straight up third world country. It was very intense. There were sometimes like 4 to 6 people on one motorcycle, and this one lady's holding, two babies, or a baby in the front, a baby in the back. It was just so insane. And then the houses that they lived in were like concrete block and a roof, and that's it. Open doors, like there was no doors. It was just like an open doorway, open windows. There were stray dogs everywhere. There was just huts, and houses like right on these streets with children sitting like right on the street. They know not to go in the middle of the road, but um kids playing just right there by the street and cars are going. I mean, we had to have been going like 40 to 60 miles per hour during this whole journey. And so it really was very humbling. It was very intense for me. And I really was like, wow, I'm just really thankful for my life. I'm really thankful for America. I'm really thankful for the opportunities that we have in America because a lot of people are stuck and they truly can't get out. And we are not. And we can follow our dreams and we can do anything that we want to do. And in places like that, it's different. It's a different life. It is not the life that we live. And it is very it's crazy. It doesn't even feel real. Like thinking back to it, it's just like, wow, I can't even believe that people can live like that and survive. And that's actually life for a lot of the world. So I'm very thankful, like I said, because that drive was hardcore. It was hard to watch. It was 3 hours and it was no joke, and I was alone. I couldn't talk to anyone. So I was really just sitting there with my thoughts and just really being thankful. And I was just trying to ground myself in thankfulness and just gratitude because that is the number one key. And we like be thankful for everything you have because you have a lot more than most people in the world. Especially if you're listening to this in America. Um, he, the car ride was funny. He's like, "Do you have WhatsApp?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Why is he asking me that? And he hands me his phone and is trying to tell me to put like my WhatsApp in his phone. And I'm thinking like, dude, amigo, we can't even communicate. Like you want to text me, like, I don't know, like through WhatsApp, it just is like whatever. And I didn't even have signal to like figure it out. So I just told him, and I can't read Spanish on his phone. So I just told him that I couldn't add him and no signal. And so that was really funny. And then he's like, why aren't you married? And it's interesting because he was like the third person within like a few days that was like, why aren't you married? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just not married. Should I be married? Like, I don't think so. I like being single. I like where I'm at in my life. I'm happy I'm not married. I've had a lot of amazing experiences because I've been single and I'm not married. And like, I don't know, not married. It's all right. So that was funny. And then finally we end up after 3 hours, finally get to the retreat. And it was probably like a mile back on this like really skinny road. And it was like tucked back and there was a gate and he had to wave himself in and it was very secure. So that was awesome. So we pull up, we get through the gate and I get out of the car and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just need a cough. Like, I really just need a second where I can just cough because I didn't want to like cough around everyone. And just, it's uncomfortable. You don't want people to think that like you're going to get them sick. And so, um, anyway, I get out of the car and there was like three people that greeted me and they were all so amazing. And they're like, hi, Whitney, welcome. We're so happy you made it finally. And I'm like, me too. I'm finally here. What a journey. And it was awesome. They brought me the most delicious iced tea I think I've ever had. And I drank that like so fast because I was dehydrated. Like I made sure that I didn't drink anything because there was a 3 hour car ride and I am stuck, can't pee, can't. And we all know how I get stressed about that. So I like downed this iced tea. It was absolutely amazing. And then they had a sink, so I was able to wash my hands. And then they brought me a cold washcloth and they're like, this is for you because it's hot. He's like, this is what we do in Colombia when we have guests. We bring them cold washcloths. So I was able to wipe my face and my arms and my hands. And like, it was just such a cleansing kind of like experience right when I got there. And then they ended up taking me to my room. So I walked down these like concrete, um, like stepping stones, and there was all these amazing plants, just like tall, like probably 6 feet tall. So I'm just like walking down this aisle, and it was I just was like, wow, I cannot believe I'm here. And I would see Alex and Diane. I saw their, pictures and they sent me some stuff. And I was just like, I'm so glad I made it. I could not imagine my life not being here and experiencing this experience. So he walks me to my room, and my room is this incredible tent. It's a big tent. It has not windows, but like you zippers, like zipper windows, so you can roll them up or zip them down. So at night, you have privacy. And there was three beds in there. There was like two twin beds on the end, and then there was like a queen bed in the middle. And it was my room all to myself. And so I go in the room, there's two fans. It was so pretty. It was so clean. They had water there, towels, everything. And then you go out the front and you go to the right and you go around the tent, and it was all private, like with bamboo and stone. And I had my own outdoor bathroom. It was incredible. It was my shower, um, my toilet, and then this beautiful sink and a mirror. And it was just, oh my gosh, I can't even tell you. And it was outside. Uh, I was like, this is a freaking dream. This is nuts. And this is like, I don't even know. This is like camping on steroids. Um, Amazing. So we end up, I like showered and, rinsed off, and I took some medicine and drank some water, just kind of relaxed for like 20 minutes. And then I went down to the beach and I got to meet everyone, and they had a local tribe of people that were there. We called them indigenous people. And so they came and they were doing kind of a ceremony. And they were doing a ceremony and they were talking about the feminine and the masculine and how important each is, and how important um, realizing the feminine and the masculine works together on so many levels, and how feminine and masculinity is nature, and nature is always showing us the feminine and the masculine. And they were just talking about how we become one with nature, and how beautiful it is. But so that was a really cool experience. It was really beautiful. I sat in this chair, and then I got to meet everyone after, and we had dinner, and it was delicious. And then after, there was a tiki bar at the beach. So I that was the night, like my last night of my 20s before I turned 30. So there was six of us, and we all celebrated, and we drank margaritas and just hung out till late. And then I went to bed, and I woke up not feeling the best, but that turned around pretty quickly, thankfully. And I woke up and I was 30, like so crazy. I never It just felt like such a lifetime, to be 30. I remember being in high school and thinking like, wow, I'm never going to even be 21. And then it's like, oh my gosh, 30 seems like light years away. And all of a sudden I wake up and I'm 30, and I felt just new. I felt excited about the future. I felt like it was just really, I'm a real adult now, and it's go time, baby. Like it's time. Like, what do you want to do, Whitney? Where do you want to go? Like, let's do it. It's time. The 20s are where you learn all your dumb mistakes, and I think 30s too. I don't know. I'll let you know when I'm 40, but 30. There's just something magical about your 30s. Everyone always, I hear a lot of people say a lot like, "Oh, my 30s were my best, but my 40s are just incredible." So we'll see when I get there, but. Um, I'm super excited to be 30. I'm so thankful that I've been on this earth in this lifetime for 30 years. And it's just like so exciting. I feel like I've done amazing things. I've seen amazing things. I've, grown a whole real estate career. I moved, across the country and started a whole new career. And here I am with my podcast, and now I'm 30. So just so exciting. And so the day of my 30th birthday was Absolutely incredible. Such a special experience. We ended up having yoga, so we did coffee and then we went to the shala, which is like this amazing um it was like a mothership. I don't really know how to describe it. Obviously, I'm going to post pictures, but that's where we did yoga and we did a couple other things. So then we ended up having coffee and we went to the yoga shala because we did breath work or yoga or some type of movement every morning. We would meet at the shala and we would go and do something. So that morning we did yoga and it was amazing. It was just the perfect little morning movement to get you going. We did some breath work. And then at the end, Graziella, she led us in this type of meditation. Um, I don't really know what to call it other than that. And so she had said, we have someone special here today. It's her 30th birthday. And so she's like, Whitney, come stand in the center. So everyone circled around. There was about 12 of us, I would say, maybe 15 of us. Everyone circled around me and we all just closed our eyes and she just said, everyone, send all your love, as much love as you can to Whitney. Just send her blessings and that she will have an amazing, you know, day and birthday and just walk into her 30s with just all the love. And it was so powerful. I remember standing there and I had my eyes closed and I just had my hands up and I just received it and I just started weeping and I just felt this like cleansing over me and I felt the love. Like I truly did feel the love and everyone's energy and it was so powerful for me. And if I would have only had that experience for my 30th birthday, that would have been enough for me. It was such a beautiful moment in my life and in my timeline that I feel like I'll never forget. And I can carry that with me because I truly feel like when you do send your love and energy to someone, that sticks with them. That's a memory. That's something that they hold on to. And so it was absolutely incredible. And we all hugged and everyone just said happy birthday to me. And it was amazing. We went to breakfast. We had breakfast. They had the best breakfast spread every day. They would give us all this fresh fruit, like a plate of fresh fruit, and papaya, cantaloupe, um, pineapple, mango, all these different types of fruits. And it was beautiful. And then they gave us this amazing homemade granola and then yogurt. So you'd pour it on your granola if you wanted. And that's kind of what they gave you. And then they brought you eggs. You would give them your order of like what eggs you wanted, what you wanted inside, and then they would bring you that. So breakfast was literally amazing every single day. And so we ended up going to breakfast and then after we showered and then we had a little bit like a 20-minute break and then we went into this other part of the hotel. Everything was outside. So we went to this other little covered area. It was kind of like just like a little picnic spot, I guess is the best way to describe it. So we all sat there and they had all these essential oils. I mean, there was probably 75 different essential oils. So we had an astrology chart that they had printed out for us before we got there. And the astrology chart was we had to give them the day and the time and where we were born. And pretty much it breaks it down into your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sun. And so anyway, that we like talked a little bit about the astrology chart and like there's, if you want to get more into astrology, there was someone that we can schedule an appointment with to kind of explain more of, what happens and what our chart looks like from when we were born. And so that was cool. But the coolest part about it was we got to smell all the perfumes and then you would we got to smell all the essential oils. And then with the oils, you would write down the ones that you liked. And it was interesting because I had never smelled a lot of the oils because there were so many. And so I think I wrote down like 30. I liked like 30 of them, which was a lot. And so that probably took about 45 minutes for us to kind of smell them all. We're sharing and oh, this one's good. And you'd pass it to the person next to you and, vice versa. And it was really interactive and it was just such a cool little experience. So Kathy would read, depending on certain signs, which smells go with those signs. And so it was kind of like, let's see if you pick the one that goes with your sign. And essentially the idea was to get one smell of each of your sign. And then if there was one that you really liked, you could put that one in there. So to be honest, I've never smelled Blue Lotus. That's an oil before. And that was my absolute favorite. And I actually have my little perfume right here. I actually leave it next to me next to my podcast studio in my studio. I leave it right here and I usually always put it on before I record and I can smell it. And the Blue Lotus, if you've never smelled Blue Lotus essential oil, highly recommend you smell it. It is florally. I think that's how you say it. It is like so clean and it's strong, but it is, I don't know. I think it's my absolute number one oil I've ever smelled. So most of my perfume, I put Blue Lotus in there. That was like my number one. I really wanted to smell like that. And then to be honest, I can't remember what the other ones were. So sorry. But Blue Lotus is my perfume and I absolutely love her. To be honest, the making of the perfume was probably my favorite like little ritual or activity that we did of all the things that we did. I don't know why. I just thought I wasn't expecting to. I think it's because I honestly wasn't expecting to like the perfume, like the essential oil perfume, as much as I did. And so when I smelled it in the final product, I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. And so it was just so cool. The whole little journey of, smelling everything, matching them with your sign, adding, a scent in from each sign, and then making this perfume was just such an amazing experience for me. And it was like so cool because it's my 30th birthday and I just got to make a perfume. Like, how cool. So we did that and then we had some free time. I ended up getting a massage, the best massage of my life. They had the massages in this incredible building, but it's all open. Like, there's not doors and windows. It's all open. There's curtains, but it's like everything in this hotel is reclaimed materials from nature. So palm fronds, bamboo, woods, different types of woods. So you go into this concrete. So we walked up into this amazing like building and we went up the stairs and I got the best massage of my life. It was amazing. And then that night, so we had a little bit of a couple hours and then we ended up doing this thing called a sweat lodge. This sweat lodge was the most intense experience I've ever had in my life. It was 3 hours. It was kind of like a hut that they build with sticks and then they lay blankets over it to like keep in the heat. And then in the middle of the lodge, like in the middle of it, they have a fire, like it's like kind of like a fire pit. So they dig down and then put the rocks around it. So there's like a little, fire pit in the middle of this lodge. And so they cleansed us all with they smudge you with sage, I think is what he was using. And so each person got smudged to like clear, whatever energy off of you. And so everyone got smudged and then he kind of just gave us a little bit about what was going to happen. And so they end up taking rocks and they light these rocks from the earth in this fire that's outside of the lodge. And I think the fire had been going for a few hours because they'd been setting it up pretty much the whole day. So that fire had been going. So those rocks were hot. Okay. So we all get in, we line it, you go one by one and you go around the lodge and you kind of get in your own space. And then there's like, this is like a ritual. This is very serious. You can't cross the line. Like once everyone's in line, and you can, obviously you can leave if you want, but like you're not supposed to leave. So, we all get in and we're all sitting there, and then they start bringing the stones in. So I thought it was going to be hot. I'm like, okay, it's going to be like a sauna. No, this is 5 billion times hotter than a sauna, because they had a big bucket, like a big metal bucket of water. So they would bring in these rocks, stones, I don't know, but there are probably like 8 inches by 6 inches. Okay. So they're pretty good sized stones, rocks. So they bring them in one by one. They would bring like 4 at a time. And then they would close the sweat lodge. They would drop the blankets down, and then they would sing. We had some like instruments, maracas, and little things. They had like a couple drums, and then they would sing. But they would take like a ladle, and they would pour water on the rocks. So these blazing hot rocks are now steaming with water, and they would just over and over and over. And then we would sing they would do like 2 or 3 songs, and then they would go get more rocks. There was 4 levels to this, but this is a 3-hour ceremony. Okay. So this is like 20 minutes at a time, 30 minutes. And we ended up having to take a break, but they would just keep bringing these rocks and pouring the water. Literally the hottest thing I've ever done. It was basically hell, is what I pretty much felt like. And to be honest, I don't want to do that again. So next time I go to the retreat, I don't think I'll be doing the sweat lodge. I say that now, but obviously FOMO, I can't not do it. But I don't want to ever do a sweat lodge again. It was seriously the most intense experience I've ever had. And I will say I do 90-minute hot yoga very, very often. So I'm used to that. I'm used to the heat, but this was next level, 3 hours, crazy, absolutely insane. And my mindset was definitely not the best. I was really over it. So, but it was such a cool experience, and I am so excited or so happy that I got to experience it, because it was a very special ceremony. It was very cool. And I would say most people will never have the opportunity to experience that unless they go to a retreat like this. So that sweat lodge though was no joke. No freaking joke. And so after the sweat lodge was finally over, I went to my room and I just sat with myself for a little bit and showered and just decompressed, because that was a lot for me. And then we had dinner. We had this amazing steak dinner, which was so like cool. We had steak on my birthday. That's probably my number one like favorite meat. I love steak and I like it rare, especially at a steakhouse. Bring me that rare, please. Thank you. If it's not at like a legit steakhouse, I usually do medium rare. But yeah, anyway, we had steak dinner for my birthday. At this point, we're all exhausted. I'm exhausted. I'm ready to go to bed. And I told Alex and Diane, I said, okay, I think I'm going to go to bed. And they're like, oh, well, something. And 2 minutes later, they bring out this homemade cake. It was a vanilla cake with strawberries on top. And I was so shocked and surprised, which I don't know, I guess sounds crazy. They were like, did you think we weren't going to do anything? And I'm like, I don't know, dude. I just literally didn't even think about it. I was so happy. I was so fulfilled. My heart was so complete from just all the experiences that day. It was the best 30th birthday I could have ever imagined. I had the best day. I felt like it was just the perfect day to cleanse myself, walk into my 30s, and be around the most amazing humans, very spiritual humans. A lot of these people are like next level in the spiritual realm, which was just so cool to learn and hear, and hear them talk about the experiences and all of that, because that this is like new for me. And so they bring out this cake, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. Like, I had no idea you guys would ask the cooks to make me a cake, to bake me a cake. Like, I was so surprised. I was shocked. They ended up singing happy birthday to me in English, Spanish, Portuguese, and Ukrainian. It was the most incredible. I can't even tell you the experience that I had spending my birthday with these people. It was seriously amazing. I don't even have any other words to describe the feeling. I was just so full. Like, everyone there filled me up. They filled my cup. It was literally overflowing. And I was so thankful. And the cake was 10 out of 10. It was delicious. So that was kind of the day of my birthday. It was very magical. I wish I could relive it almost every birthday. It was absolutely incredible. So something else that we did while we were in Colombia was we had a cacao ceremony. So cacao is a chocolate. This chocolate came, Kathy had brought it. I can't remember where she said she brought it from, but it was a different country. So she brought this chocolate. So what they do is they actually melt the chocolate down. So it's like a liquid, and then they give each of us a cup of it. And we had sound bowls out. So she was playing the sound bowls, and you drink the chocolate. And in what it is it's a heart opener. So it's supposed to open up your heart. That's why you get chocolate for Valentine's Day and different holidays, but especially Valentine's Day is because chocolate is a heart opener. People love chocolate. It makes them happy. So the cacao ceremony is along the same lines. It's, a heart opener so you can really open your heart and feel and just relax and just let your heart open is really what that was. And it was a very cool experience. The cacao ceremony with the sound bowls was very special. The chocolate was delicious. And we just chilled and relaxed and laid and listened to the music and just danced around a little bit. And we just really let our hearts kind of feel and open and feel the warmth and the chocolate. So that was a really cool experience also. Highly recommend a cacao ceremony if you ever have the opportunity. It was really cool. I'm really thankful. That night we ended up having dinner on the beach. We had this amazing dinner where they brought this huge table out. I was like, where'd they even get this table? And it was like straight up solid wood. And I was like, I wonder how they even got this down here. But we ended up having dinner on the beach. And then that night they had brought in like a local DJ. So we got to dance and we all danced together. And it was so hot though. There was zero breeze when we were at the beach that night. No breeze. I mean, I was dancing, dripping sweat. And here in Florida, when you go to the beach, you pretty much have a breeze constantly. Like we do where we are at on the beach, we have a pretty great breeze all the time. So it was interesting to be at the beach with zero breeze. I'm talking like not one leaf even moving on a tree. Okay. And then that night we ended up me and a couple of girls went to the bathroom, and on the way back I almost stepped on a crab. It was probably like 10 inches wide with its claws, and I almost stepped on it, and someone named it, and it was really scary. I the crab was a lot. I almost stepped on it. How come I can't see it? I don't even know what would have happened if I stepped on the crab because it was freaking massive. It probably would have murdered me, but I'm not sure. So that was really cool because in Florida, I don't ever see big crabs like that. So that the thing was freaking massive. And then went to bed. And then our very last full day was we went on an excursion. So it was like a 15-minute car ride. And the car that we were in was super cool. It had like no, not normal seats, but you sat around the outside, and it was really cool. So we load up in this car, and we head over to this waterfall lagoon thing. And I wasn't expecting it to be so magical. Um, the water was so refreshing, and it was fresh water. And there was a waterfall that was so insane and powerful. So we ended up swimming over there. We got to cliff dive. We had two guys that were our guides that, brought us there, and they swam with us and they brought us up to the rocks, and I was able to cliff dive and jump. And I never thought I would be so scared to jump, but I was seriously scared. Like, I think it was only like 15 feet, but I'm telling you, I did not want to do it. But also, I couldn't get down off that rock. Like, I was up there and there was no way I was getting down. So I had to go, and I was very, very nervous, but I ended up jumping. And then I ended up going to a higher one, and I was even scared, but I was like, again, I can't get down. I got to jump. So I jumped, and it was just amazing. And then we ended up, one of the guys taught us how to get inside the waterfall because the rocks were really slippery and they had algae. So you couldn't really like get up there and it's like rushing over you. I mean, it was so powerful. I do wish that I had or could show you all what I'm talking about, like the amount of power that water had, but it was kind of like tucked back, and obviously I'm swimming, didn't bring my phone. But I ended up getting up in the waterfall, and I just like sat there and I let it was like pounding me pretty much. And I was just sitting there and I was just smiling, and it was so loud and powerful. And one of the girls said, lean your head back and listen. It talks to you. So I did. There was like a portion of the waterfall where you could kind of tilt your head back, and I tilted my head back, and I was able to like not have the water, covering my face. And I was able to like open my eyes a little bit and listen. And it sounded like the water was legit talking. It was crazy. Like, I don't know. It's something that you would have to experience to understand what I'm trying to describe, but it felt like the water was talking to me. It was so cool. It was amazing. I actually didn't want to leave. But we ended up staying there for probably 2 hours, and then we left and we had to hike back to the car because we had to hike over to the lagoon. And of course, I got my dad some rocks. So I was able to find some cool rocks for my dad and myself, of course, and my siblings. And I also took my picture because, I told you that I like to take a picture of where I get the rocks so that I remember, and then I can show people, my dad and my family, like, this is where the rock came from right here. And you can see the picture, and I just think that's super cool. So I also got to hug a tree that was like hundreds of years old. They call it the grandfather tree. And I got to hug him, and he was so big. I Yeah, that was a cool experience. Tree hugger over here. And so we got to see that too on that ride. And then we got back to our hotel, the resort, and a lot of people went and sewed something. They had this local family, this indigenous family come in, and they were like knitting something or sewing something. I don't know, because I didn't do it. And so I ended up going to the pool for 3 hours, and my hair turned green, literally green. And I ended up having to get, like, when I got home back to the US, I ended up having my friend call me in some kind of hair care because my hair was legit green, like, and I'm blonde, so it was green from me being just in the pool so much. Because I love water. It's like another reason why I live in Florida. I love the water. I love the beach. I love pools. I love any water. Like, let me go. Full send. Let's go. 5, 6, 7, 8. So I ended up swimming in the pool for the last 3 hours because that was our last day. And that's really what I wanted to do. I just wanted to relax and hang out. I was alone in the pool for like 2 hours. And then the last hour, some of the people came back, and we, ordered a little food and some margaritas and hung out. And then we had dinner and, kind of ended that. And it was literally just the most incredible experience of my life. But I want to go back to one experience that I feel like really changed me on this trip. It was another ceremony that we did. I'd never done anything like this either. this was all a first. Everything that I'm talking about is all a first for me. I've never experienced anything like this. But we did a mud ceremony, mud, MUD, mud ceremony. They get this clay from different parts of the world. And we ended up having like sage, there was sage burning, and there was music playing. It was very like angelic music. And we all went into where we got our massages done. We went into this like concrete room, and it had like concrete through the walls. So you could like see through it, but it was still a wall. We went one by one, and Kathy and Isabel, they're the ones that ran the retreat. They were wiping the mud on each person. So they would start with the arms, and they would go slow, and they would just wipe this mud. And you just kind of sat there and watched, and just felt the energy, and you know just the love. And so one by one, they would go arms, and then they would go on your chest, and they would work down your legs. And we are all wearing bathing suits. So they would, wipe it on your legs and your feet. And then they would, wipe it on your face and do it on your nose and your cheeks and your forehead. And, so you're just covered in mud. And so it was really powerful, seeing everyone else. And I knew I was like the third to last person. And I knew it was going to be an intense for me. I could just feel it. I knew I was ready for that. And so they started, putting the mud on me. And I'm telling you, I've never felt so much. It was like an oil. It was like this cleansing just coming over me, just completely cleansing me, literally from my head to my toes. And they, went slow, and it was just such a beautiful ceremony. I felt so pure and whole and new during this. It was like layers of me just shutting off, and just this new life coming upon me. I was bawling. I mean, I literally was, there were tears streaming down my face, just on streaming down. I mean, I was not hysterical, but I was bawling. It was one of the most powerful experiences I think I've felt in a long time. Very spiritual, very cleansing, very beautiful. And I felt so much love in that moment, that I really hope everyone in your lifetime, you get to experience a mud ceremony with people that you love, and that with people that love you, and with people that are spiritual. Because when you do come together with people that are like-minded, and you engage in some type of ceremony or ritual for the collective to, elevate you, there's something so powerful in that. There's something in that moment that, one, you will never forget. Two, that no one can ever take away from you. And in that moment, I just remember feeling like new, a completely new person. Like all of the things that I carried, the hurt, the pain, the tragedies I've been through, the, breakups, all of that stuff, just, it felt like it just melted off me. It was so powerful. I cannot even describe to you the release that this mud ceremony gave me, and the spiritual like enlightening that it gave me. And besides the making the perfume, this mud ceremony changed me. And it allowed a new Whitney to rise. And I'm just like, even thinking about it right now just makes me want to like go into tears, because it was just a moment that I never would have thought I would have ever experienced. And just felt so much love and light and like cleansing. It was so magical. So, if you ever have an opportunity to engage in a mud ceremony with people that you love and trust, I highly recommend that. Um, it is a very spiritual experience, and it is very beautiful. So, that is the number one experience from this entire trip that I truly feel like changed me. And I'm just so thankful for people that do things in this life that they love, they believe in, and they share with others. And that is all another reason why I'm doing this podcast, is because I love you all. I want to share with you. I want us to all grow. And I think it's important to bring this to light. So, yeah, it was Colombia was definitely one a, a trip of a lifetime. They are going back in February. So I said I wasn't going to go, but now that I'm doing this podcast, I'm like, maybe I'm going to go. I also have some friends that are going, so I'll probably go back with them. I need to sign up and go back, because it was absolutely the most incredible experience of my life. And so I just want to share one more thing before I hop off. In this podcast, I'm always going to try to bring a lesson and something that we can learn and move forward with. And the lesson in this one is to chase your dreams. You can do anything you want. You have to believe in yourself, and you have to know where you are going in the future. If you believe in yourself and you can see the future, and you're always putting that future in your mind's eye in front of you, you're working towards the future, where the future is, what the future looks like. That's part of manifesting. But if you can believe in yourself and see your future, what you want, what you truly want, you can have it all. You can have all of it. You can have everything. You can have the body you want, the relationships you want, the people you want, the family you want, the career you want, the money you want, the house you want, the cars, the spirituality, the love, the health, all the things. If you believe in yourself and you can see the future you want, you can have it. So don't give up on your dreams. Chase your dreams. The only way to fail is to not do. The only way to fail is to stop. So keep going, keep pushing, keep persevering. Don't give up. Don't let anyone tell you can't do something. If you believe you can do it, you can do it. So I'm going to leave it there. I love you all, the squad, Whitney's world. You guys are amazing. You are my world. I am here for you. I'm here for you always. Please keep following me, sharing this message. If you have questions about a retreat and you're interested in doing something like this, hit me up. I can connect you with Kathy and Isabel, and I think they're doing quite a few of these retreats. I think they just started kind of doing this. So if this is something that you're kind of interested in, hit me up. I'd love to share the information with you and get you connected. That's what I'm here to do, is connect you. So Colombia was a 10 out of 10, baby. Best experience. I turned 30. I let the old out, let the new in. The new Whitney is here, and she's here to stay. So love you guys. Thank you so much. Please follow me on Instagram, Whitney's World Podcast. I also have my personal Facebook, Whitney Ward, and then would love to connect with you there. And then also TikTok. I'm on TikTok. I'm working on things, trying to grow, get better. So I'm so thankful to everyone that has listened for this hour podcast. This is my longest one yet I've recorded. So thank you guys so much. And my very last announcement that I want to share with you guys, that I'm so excited and proud about, is my little brother, Josh, the real J.O., has dropped his album. It's the Lo-Fi Sessions. The album name is Treefers, Treefers. It's on Spotify. My little brother's a rapper. He is so talented. I'm seriously so proud of him. The album is incredible. I have Sonos at my house, and I just play his album like so loud. I love it. I wish there were more songs, and I can't wait to see him grow. But he needs our support. So please go to Spotify, look him up, give it a listen. I really think you're gonna love it. He's so intelligent, and the way that he has made music is different. And I love it. And I'm just so proud of him. My favorite songs from the album is Amen and Angels. So try those out first. And yeah, follow him on Instagram, give him a follow on Spotify, share it. If you know anyone that likes some rap, some chill rap music, definitely share it with them. We are here to bring you all something amazing and to entertain you. So, thank you guys all. The wards love you. We are thankful for you all. And I hope that you have an amazing day. I will see you next week. Bye.
Tan skin, I've been peeped and she knows she clean up. Walking out an Airbnb, I think she sleeker than she knows what to do with. Or maybe I'm fooling and I'ma fumble when I try ahead. But let me get motion.
Don't concentrate on the finger or you will miss all that heavenly glory.
I got some codeine in my chalice at the function. Higher than angels, you can't come and try to touch it. I see a aura, purer than others round her. I'm thinking now she working the trousers, or maybe can I get round her? She told me, Josh, you look timid. She peeped my image, grabbed my hand, snatch a gin with a lemon. I think I did it, maybe I didn't. She distant in different cities, sliding on something, I think I'm tripping. She belongs to the world and never me. That's something I learned from Miss Thing at 14. But she slides so quick, I couldn't see. So I'ma kick a text to the line like OGs. And she respond, ain't nothing come from it. Never got her thighs, only smiles from pictures touching the phone pad. I go back and forth with this here. I guess I'll walk it off the loneliness. I'm used to that here. Yeah.
Away to the moon. Don't concentrate on the finger or you will miss all that heavenly glory.
This is what life is. Existing. Just existence. You should just be satisfied to exist. Not to find out what your purpose is. And I'm crazy because to me passion is essential. It's not an accessory. It's life. It is life. I think the absence of love is the lack of life.
Love, I tell you, love is that confidence. Love is what you give your children. Love is what you give. Let me tell you another thing about the Matrix. Going back to the Matrix, is that I was always confused about it. I always thought that, the Matrix was battling the enemy out there, picking them out. I'm going to find those enemies. I'm going to get that enemy. Until I realized that until you conquer the enemy in yourself, you can't deal with anyone.